Yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Shameless Plug. Welcome to the Shameless Plug podcast. Before we get started, I do want to say, me and Max, we were guests.
Yeah, we were.
On a show. What was the show called? Do You Party?
I think.
Yeah, it was Do You Party podcast. Yeah, you saw it in the DMs.
Yeah.
But we were guests on that show, and you guys should check it out. Once it releases, I'll link it. Me and Max basically just tell our
craziest party stories.
Yeah, like craziest party stories, but I didn't tell him my craziest. I couldn't.
Oh, really?
You told me you weren't going to.
Yeah, I got to be safe. But I told him some good ones. But yeah, we just talked to him, and it was interesting, so check it out. And also, thank you all for checking out the last episode. It blew up. It went crazy. It did great numbers. But yeah, what do you guys think of the last episode?
It was good. We risked it all for a viral moment, like Dirk said.
What do we risk?
I don't know. I'm just calling Dirk, bro. I'm just calling Dirk.
Well, I think we should address that we do have a special guest here today. I don't want to be the one to introduce him. I think that should be you, Neff.
All right, this is Joel Fluent Green. I just met him like a week ago, actually. No, that's my dad. That's my dad, Joel Fluent Green, writer, poet, rapper, dad, Fallout player.
Oh, you play Fallout?
I do play Fallout.
Which one?
So I'm currently playing New Vegas on my laptop. I never beat it. So I had to go back and revisit New Vegas.
Did you play 3?
Yeah, I beat 3. I love 3.
Oh, you beat it?
Yeah. 4. I have Fallout 76.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm like one of those weird people that stuck with it.
Yeah, everyone hates it.
Everybody hates it.
Yeah.
It's not really all that good, but it's improving.
It's not.
Yeah.
He always plays when I'm there, and I'm just looking at him like, I know you don't enjoy this.
I probably
Stop
only
pretending.
pull it out to try to like act like I really love it in front of him for some reason. I don't know. To prove a weird
I was
point.
hating
But
on it so hard.
yeah,
I didn't know you were a gamer, bro.
Well, not hardcore, but there are things I like. I like a good RPG.
Thank you.
I love
Thank
a good
you.
RPG.
I was telling Max it's the best genre of games of all time.
Yeah, I think
he
so.
loves it.
But yeah, this is a show about music somewhat, but we do like games.
Yeah.
Of course.
But there was a lot that went on in the world of music. Where do you guys want to start though? Because like, should we start with like letting the audience know more about Joel?
Yeah.
Or should we start with all the...
about
We can get it out the way real quick.
Yeah,
sure.
okay.
So,
Talk about, like,
yeah,
the music you grew up on.
what's up? Shameless plug. What's good? So first, I want to say thanks for having me. I enjoy the
course.
podcast. I watch it on
Yeah,
my own.
thank you,
You know what I'm
'cause you
saying?
pub
This
it.
is family and Max, of course, but
Yeah.
I still, I pub it. You know, so it's really good, and you guys are doing a great job. So
Appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank
for having me. But yeah, man, my name is Joel Fluent Green. I'm a Detroit-based poet, author, all that good stuff, man. Just been doing it for a long time. He called me a rapper, which I can rap, but I don't really,
funny. I
like
had a whole list of things I didn't
yeah,
get to.
I'm sure, yeah, but I enjoy being his dad. He's a cool ass kid, young man, adult, shit, 19. Good
Is he
Lord.
as tall as you now, man?
Oh, I probably got him like
You got
half
like
an
half
inch.
an inch.
Oh, okay,
Half
because I
an
saw
inch.
you two
I'm hanging
stand
on to
next
that,
each other.
man. It's like
I got Q.
Yeah. Oh, you taller than wow. Because when
Yeah.
I saw you two standing next to each other, it freaked me out. Because in my
Yeah.
head, because I've known you since a kid, so in my
Yeah.
head, you're like the tallest person in the family almost. And then
Wow.
the fact that you're next to him, it was like it's weird. Oh, Carlos is taller too.
Carlos is the
Carlos,
tallest.
yeah.
Carlos don't be around as much, so it's like
Right. So I'm used to you always being the tallest in the room.
lanky standing around. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I've been doing poetry and performing around the city and outside the city for like over 20 years, which is crazy to think about it. I started at a place called Cafe Mahogany, which is no longer open, but back in the day, people like the Commons and the Roots and Erykah Badu used to come through to this spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
it was like the hub for like the cool black people
Yeah. See,
in the city of Detroit for back in like the late 90s. It was like the spot.
I knew you had mahogany.
Mm-hmm.
But like no one told me, like my dad never told me that all these people came through.
Oh yeah, your dad. Yeah, he would know for sure. Yeah, all those people that definitely came through, man. It was Black Eyed Peas, random people.
Really?
Yeah, like before like
we talking
Fergie,
before
Black Eyed
Fergie
Peas,
joined?
before
Yeah.
Fergie,
They
Black
were
Eyed
a
Peas.
different vibe.
They're a different vibe.
Yeah.
And people would just like come through and hang out if they were just in town. People like the record execs or people in whatever would take them to this spot. Whoever the people are that take them around when you're in the city, so they would take them to Mahogany to experience the Detroit cool stuff. So
you were like the central hub for the neo soul.
yeah, that spot was the
movement.
central hub, and I hosted the poetry nights every Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
That's what I did, and so I did it for 3 years.
Okay.
So they had other stuff going on, but the poetry nights was like the most popping night. It was packed up in there.
Even though it was Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday night, and it was packed. And this is dark downtown, dangerous Detroit, where everything was dark. This is when old Hudson's building was still
Yeah,
up.
what year was this? This was a while back.
Like 97, 98.
This is a different Detroit than
different
the new
Detroit.
Detroit we got,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. Yeah. So it was I would catch the bus and it would be like, okay, I'm looking out for myself the whole way from the bus stop all the way to Mahogany.
Yeah.
Then afterwards going back to like Oak Park and I'm like young as hell, like 19 and shit.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
younger than me doing this?
Yeah, I was young.
Dude,
I
I
started.
think I'm popping off with the podcast. Whole time you have
Yeah, I was hanging
like
out.
Erykah Badu.
Yeah, like for real. Oh, I got stories, man. I got so many stories.
Oh,
but
shit.
anyway, but in a nutshell, that's who I am and that's what I do. So
That's
yeah.
That's hype.
Man.
I think you explained it better because when we first had Gabe on the show, and I tried to tell Max like who you were, I kind of was like, oh, he's a rapper and a poet, but
Yeah.
like I couldn't do it justice. So thank you for the intro.
Yeah, for sure.
We appreciate it. I do want to ask though, because you guys before the show started, we're talking about like the neo soul rap thing, like the Common, and all those artists like the Roots, who were kind of doing the soul rap funk thing at the time. Do you guys like still listen to that music as much, like that genre of rap? Because I know we talk about music a lot, but I wanna see where you guys think the climate of that genre of rap is. I want your opinions.
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't. It's hard to say because we were like, 7, 8 years old when that was happening. Even younger, I guess the whole
I wasn't even
era. Yeah, you were probably even a baby.
yeah.
I mean, but so it's hard to say like where it's at, but I like it a lot.
Well,
And
I'm asking just because it's at a kind of crossroads right now. Because you have Common doing commercials. You see Questlove on is it Fallon?
yeah,
It's like it's changed. A lot has
Yeah,
changed.
yeah.
Erykah Badu is selling incense that smells like her vagina, which is cool. I'm with it.
Hey, I'm with it, but yeah.
But like, I just want your guys' opinion on the current climate of that segment of rap because people act like it's forgotten.
Does Tribe count in this segment or no?
You could throw them in
For
there.
sure.
Yeah.
Tribe
I
is
listen to Tribe.
definitely.
Obviously, all this is
The
before
Love
me.
Movement was like
All this is that's all right. Let me.
Yeah.
Underrated album.
All this is before me, so like my perspective on it is different. Because this is I was not born or a baby when all this was happening. So, but yeah, I listen to Tribe a good amount.
Okay, but like I'm talking. Do you think it's over?
No, see, well, there are people
evolved.
carrying the flame. I mean, I hear a lot of jazzy ass beats. You're talking about like beats and that whole aesthetic. I mean, like Isaiah Rashad, definitely.
you would consider
soulful.
Isaiah
Oh,
in
for
that?
sure.
Okay.
I listened to. I mean, what was I listening to? Man, we listen, so much stuff. Spillage, the Spillage Village album. It's
So like Dreamville TDE.
Yeah, they're definitely like very Outcast, Goody Mob-ish.
you
Well,
see that as like an
Dreamville-
extension of what?
Definitely. So, I see like Earth Gang and all those guys as an extension. I look at people as extensions of that same spirit and that same soul.
And you know
so
what's
like
funny
for instance, yeah.
about that? I don't want to interrupt you.
No,
but
you're good.
On this episode where we had Culture to Culture on, we were
Oh,
saying
yeah.
that Ari Lennox is like a newer Erykah Badu.
Oh, for sure.
Like I never noticed it, but
Yeah.
it does extend farther than that parallel.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like they have that same spirit. I mean, so I may not be able to get the same. Like for me, I like people taking chances and doing new stuff. So I don't like dependable rappers. Like there are people like, okay, let's get into this for a minute. So like Black Thought, for instance, right?
Yes.
One of my favorite rappers of all time. But Black Thought, I kind of know where he's gonna go with the flow. I kind of know how he's gonna rap on every song. I kind of know. I've been listening to the Roots since their first album, like going to the day it came out. Like when Do You Want More first came out. And before that, with Organics, like I remember Underground Roots shit.
Okay, yeah.
And so I was listening to Roots since they first dropped, and I know his flow. So it's kind of like he's improved over the time, but then at some point he reached a peak where it's like, okay, this is who I am and this is how I'm gonna sound. So I like younger rappers that kind of keep that spirit, but are like their flows are like of right now. You know what I'm saying? Like Isaiah Rashad is ridiculous with it. A good example. Kendrick, of course.
Excuse my phone.
Yeah, so many people, man. I'm at a loss for like rappers, but Gabe knows. Like,
Yeah,
there's
we
so
have
many-
this. We've had
Yeah.
this
Yes.
similar conversation all the time.
Yeah.
And my thing for me as like, because he'll play me music like, does this sound good? Like, does it still age well? And my thing is having an old beat and an old flow. Like, if you just sound like you're
Right.
trying to be from the '90s, it doesn't work. But if you're someone like Joey, where you put like a little spin on it, and sometimes he does go too '90s.
Yeah.
But like, if you try to put your own like more modern spin on it, I like that.
Well, I would say Joey was more boom bap.
Yeah,
Very
when I
boom
say
bap.
90s, I
Neo-soul.
mean like boom bap 90s, not like.
I'm talking kind of maybe 90s isn't the right era, like early 2000s, like neo
Yeah,
soul.
I know what you mean.
You know
Neo
what I'm
Okay,
soul.
saying?
yeah, all right,
I
yeah,
know
you're
what you
probably
mean.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think about it like that. But yeah, like you have to have. You can't just sound like you're just trying to be from a certain era. You got to have a spin on it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a better way to put it
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I don't want to say that genre is dead, but it definitely had like an aesthetic. And
Yeah.
I personally, I just didn't think of the other artists like TDE and Dreamville as an extension. But that was a good point you brought up because Spillage Village, I guess the way like the staccato way they rhyme, everything they do
Yeah.
aesthetically, it is very similar to
I
that
didn't
whole
think about
neo
that.
soul era.
For sure.
But I had to ask you about how you feel about that because that's your. When I think of like that era, it goes
Oh, man.
Most Def, Roots,
Yes.
Common, then Joel.
Yes. Man, that's me all day, bro. Like I used to,
Yeah.
man, wait in lines outside of like St. Andrews to see people like that, you know, and
Wow.
crazy stuff, man. So like, yeah, that whole era, the whole Soul Aquarians era, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? With like the Roots and Common and Badu and all that stuff was so good,
Yeah.
so rich. Dilla, Slum Village,
Yeah, rich. I think rich is a really good way to describe it.
It was rich, but
Rich.
two things real quick. I want to ask you like why that particular style of rap like it stuck with you the most. Like
Okay.
why that you chose that, not chose, but why
Yeah.
it spoke to you. And also, could you move the mic a little closer to your mouth?
Yeah, sure. So that style of rap, I mean, my dad's a jazz musician. So of course, I grew up listening to like Miles Davis and jazz and all this stuff, Thelonious Monk, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So then when jazzy beats became popular, I was like, oh. So then, and plus in my way, that was me connecting to my dad. You know, it's like, oh, dad, listen to this hip hop. You might like this, because he wouldn't listen to the other shit.
didn't
He would
like the
listen. He'd be like,
street
oh.
stuff?
Of course not. He was an old school guy, cussing and street shit. You know, he couldn't get into that. Not like your dad, who was
Yeah, my
about
dad,
all that shit.
That
right?
is his thing. Yeah, you're the neo soul. And he's
yeah.
like the KRS One, Ice Cube.
Yes,
type.
yeah, but me too though. But at the same
Yeah.
time, but my dad was so close. Like me and Gabe, the relationship we had when it comes to music is so connected because we're both hip hop generation. Like just that he's all hip hop. I was born with hip hop. You know, what I'm saying? I was born in '77.
Okay.
So I'm literally like was born with hip hop.
Like
you know
when you start listening to music, it's like it took off, right?
Yeah. So when I was like teenager in like formative years and stuff, the hot shit was like the underground stuff, and the underground stuff mostly sounded like the Gangstar, Premier, DJ Premier. Either it was hard, boom bapish, or it was very jazzy, and it was kind of like earthy.
I
So
think
we had
DJ
De La
Premier
Soul,
was
all
the-
that.
I don't want to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
I think DJ Premier was the bridge between those.
Oh, for sure.
I think he was the perfect producer bridge between boom bap and neo soul.
That's a good point.
What do you guys think?
I agree.
I'm not that knowledgeable on it, but from what I know, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause I didn't
'cause-
really know that much about DJ Premier until like a couple months ago. Honestly, I read like an article or something.
Ooh,
And they're
man.
talking about certain songs, and that's kind of how they put it.
Yeah,
Not word for word, but that's the general idea.
I just thought of that now because you brought him up, and I was just thinking like I don't really associate him with boom bap or neo soul, so it's
Yeah.
funny because he does seem like that link. But you were saying like you listened to that and it didn't speak to you, or it did?
Oh, Premiere?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. All
Okay,
that stuff
so
did for sure.
the
I
Gangstar-
guess what the reason why the neo soul, earthy stuff probably spoke to me more. The jazzy stuff, I should say. That's your question. Spoke to me more because my dad's influence, and then of course, yeah, that was like the like bucking the popular culture shit. It was like the subculture. It was the cool shit, like Diggable Planets, all that shit. If you knew about that, you were in like the small percentage of kids at your high school that was
Yeah.
into this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I would talk to my friends that knew about this shit, and we felt like we were like up on stuff no one else knew. Like when Odd Future first came out or some
Yeah,
shit.
that's
probably.
how- yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm up on this. You don't know about
You
this
got
shit.
cool points.
We get cool points for this shit.
Yeah.
So that was our shit. That was our version of like so underground. This is before the internet. So it's
Yeah.
like we literally were like going to record stores or like finding this stuff, like literally digging in the crates to find stuff.
See, for me and Max, that's a euphemism. Like we still
No,
go to
literally.
record stores, but like you know,
Yeah.
you guys were really
Yeah.
digging in the crates.
Yeah, and we had the Rap Blast.
Yeah.
That was this radio block used to come on like on Saturdays at night for like 2 hours. It was hosted by Billy T and TJ, the Troublesome Juvenile.
Oh, shout out!
That's
yeah.
the name. Shout out to Billy T and TJ. And so real quick, but every Saturday, so I would sit in my dad's car,
Yeah.
and like just listen to the radio or sit in the room and like play the Rap Blast. And that's when I first heard like the Roots and all this stuff. First time I heard any of this stuff was on the like WJLB, the Rap Blast. Yep.
So it's interesting because I like that era too.
Yeah.
But I like the way you describe it because you don't sound like you have the superiority complex that
Oh
kinda comes with that.
no, not at all.
Another thing we always talk about.
Because
I don't like old bars or old flows. I can't listen to this shit. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. Like when new rappers take old bars and old
Yeah.
flows, it's kind of like
It's fine. It's
Yeah.
a tribute, and it's like hip hop has so many styles. But if you only know like one style, you've been sticking to that style for 20 years. I can't listen to you.
no, I
Well,
can't.
also-
Like Talib Kweli or somebody. It's like it's sorry, but you know what I'm saying. It's like a dependable thing. you
yeah,
know?
that's kind of like what you were saying about Black Thought. He's in a different league. He's
Yes.
a top tier.
Top tier.
But
But I know where he's going because I've been listening, studying his shit on the low for years.
Yeah,
so
I get it.
You know, but I get more excited listening to people like Tierra Whack, who's like, what the fuck?
Thank you. I love Tierra, yes.
or you know, Kendrick even still.
Yes.
Or you know, Isaiah.
But I think what a good like analogy for the Black Thought. It's like eating at a luxury expensive dinner or restaurant like every night. It's still amazing.
Still good.
But you're getting the same.
Yeah.
So what were you gonna say, Gabe? Sorry.
I was when he brought up the Black Thought thing. We had talked because didn't Black Thought just come out with an album?
Yeah.
He played it. We're like listening to music. He played it, and like midway through the song, he was like, "All right, I've heard this." Like you know, it's like it's the same thing for 20 years. You know?
But like, I'm glad to see that they're obviously still like working. But it's like I think I want to see a little more. I don't know what producers he works with, but I want to see a little more deviation and like incorporation of new stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
With old cats, I think that's why last episode we were talking about why 444 was so great.
Yeah.
See, that's a case study in coming back and really being relevant. Because man, he also had Kingdom Come, and
we talked about that last episode
same
too.
Jay. And he was talking about auto tune and all this old dude
and
shit.
DOA.
He's wagging his finger at auto tune.
I know.
Fuck that.
But there's definitely a way to incorporate the two. So I do appreciate that you have that like respect for both.
Well, I wanted to say I think it's really interesting that you're talking about the way you discovered this music and listened to it because, you know, you talk about the internet and not having that, but I always looked at, you know, that kind of music from YouTube or, you know, reading stuff online and finding stuff online because, like, you know, my family didn't have a background in digging through crates literally or anything. They don't really care that much. But it's interesting to talk about the different ways you can come to this music, but still getting the same thing from it or feeling it. Obviously, it's different for every person.
Yeah.
But the music speaks for itself so heavily is what I mean, really. That you can find it on the YouTube link 20 years after it came out, or you could find it in a record store a day after it came out. And it's still it's so good that it feels... Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, definitely, man. It's like some stuff is just really timeless too. It
Timeless.
gives you the same really good, that soulful feeling. It's something about it, you know.
I wanted to say though, it is timeless. Like the timeless aspect of the music is like, you know, I think that's what cements hip hop more than any other genre. But I want to ask how you feel about taking drug hip hop, because I know there's a lot of like modern era hip hop that you can get with, but there's a big distinction that we were talking about last episode between the taking drug hip hop versus the selling drug hip hop, and this is like a separation of the street side, because we were saying that the taking drug era is falling off. Because Famous Dex, if you know who that is, he sold less than 5K, like a couple weeks ago, and he was one of the top people I'd say in 2016, 2017, and we were saying once XXX Tentacion unfortunately passed away, the era of the I don't want to call them mumble rappers, but maybe just like an emphasis on taking drug thing is kind of waning out. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I'm seeing a wane.
I was gonna say 2016 XXL class, but they're doing fine.
Yeah, but like
one of those years.
It was 2017 maybe.
We call it Fortnite rap a lot because it's kind of it's like little kids.
It's commercial. You can tell the labels are behind it.
Yeah.
It's SoundCloud. You could call it too SoundCloud rap.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask how you felt about that, because we're kind of just now getting out of that lull.
I mean, if it's like taking drug music, like, you know, drugs and music have always gone hand in hand, right? Yeah. So I guess every generation has their time where it's like, woe is me. Yeah. You know, oh, I'm so misunderstood. Oh, I'm in the corner crying. Yeah. And, you know, my dad doesn't understand me type music and shit. And that's good for everybody to have that shit. Yeah. Everybody deserves to have their thing. So I guess for this generation, it may have died out quick, but look at the world we live in right now. Shit is so real. And then you have COVID, which, like, you know, and people are so health conscious these days. Like, so there's also a very big blowback to like the drug shit where people are like doing shakes and eating kale and all this shit. Like, you know, people are so health conscious that I think that maybe that stuff is cool for a little bit, but I think after a while, I think maybe we're just more aware to the point where we're not really trying to entertain that so much.
So how did you feel? Did you ever get with anyone? Like...
Some of it, I like the sad and like I'm so sad. It's Extension, whatever. I sound terrible doing this shit, but I like that song and sad and lonely or whatever.
Oh, sad.
That shit was dope. It's short, same little refrain over and over.
Right. Yeah.
But I liked it. I thought it was kind of dope, and I like a lot of the really cool feelings type stuff.
But were
know?
you ever like kind of worried that was the new direction?
Nah.
It was gonna, or you knew it was gonna be a blip.
I've seen music come and go to so many different ways. Like,
Okay.
I'm not one of these guys like, oh no, it's all going to hell now. Hip hop
Yeah.
is doomed. Never. Because I listen to everything. So like, and even with the shit people call mumble rap or whatever, there's some jewels and gems in there.
Yeah, for sure.
I found some brilliant shit.
Yeah, no, there's great stuff. Like we talk about taking drug music sometimes.
Uzi. Yes, I love Uzi.
Thank you for liking Uzi, because my old man does not fuck with Uzi.
I love Uzi.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, Uzi's definitely more like sensitive feeling type shit. So me being a guy that comes from like the neo soul, De La Soul, all that shit, like
That's
I was into like the very like I'm not like every guy type shit, emotional stuff.
Yeah.
So therefore I can relate to the new stuff. It's the same spirit. These guys are just a sensitive, misunderstood dude at their high school.
Wow.
Like I get it, I get that same type of vibe.
You're blowing Max's like mind away right now.
Yeah, it's the same guy. It's just now there are different sounds that are hotter, different flows that are hotter.
And I was
the same dude.
telling my dad, like I'm always telling my dad different artists I think he'd like, and that's why I was trying to a couple of years ago trying to get him to listen to Mac, because
Mac Miller?
Yeah, like that's an extension of
Gabe got me up on Mac.
that's like an extension
on
the neo soul thing.
It
like,
is.
especially
Faces.
swimming.
Oh yeah.
Faces
Is huge on that.
Yeah.
Swimming. Faces, like I don't know if I ever play Faces for him just because it's not as I listen to Faces all the time.
That's the best one.
Max nodding his
that's
head.
my
I feel like
That's his best album.
I've heard this though because on my own, just listen to this. It's just like recent, like over the Corona lockdown time, listening to like a lot of Mac Miller.
Faces is a top tier rap album, 2010s at least.
Yeah.
Period.
Period.
It's a top tier
honestly.
album.
It's one of the better. It's so long, but it's so good.
But there's no misses on
There's
it.
no
even.
misses.